Okie so today we're gonna use a strap and one or two blocks depending what you have. And if you have a blanket for your heads, that would be great too. So if you don't have blocks, you can take books or you can take extra blankets or pillows even. So just put it on the side for now. And we are going to start lying down. So come onto the floor, lay down on your back. I know this is for most of your morning class, so don't just fall asleep, but if you fall asleep, that's probably what you need. Make sure you're comfortable. So one of the things that we want to pay attention to is the tailbone here. So maybe gently lift with your heels and your elbows and bring the tailbone a little bit more towards your heels so that you have a little bit more support on your sacrum. You don't want to go pulling the muscles of your belly in. So the muscles are relaxed. So you will still feel that opening. Relax your feet. So maybe just gently shake them a little bit from side to side. And then bring your arms up and shake your arms. Bend your elbows a few times. And then bring your arms down. And then now just move your head from side to side. So moving the neck a little bit. And then coming back to center. And then just observe now for a moment how you feel, how your body feels this morning. If you have something under your head, make sure it's not under your shoulders, otherwise your shoulders are going to roll forward and you're going to close off your chest. So your arms, we're basically in Shavasana pose to start, which is great. And now flex your feet and bring the toes up. So your legs are still wider than your hips normally. You're gonna have to move the thighs towards the center so that the hips, the knees, and the toes are aligned. And then flex your feet and see if you can bring your toes closer towards your face. So really flexing, flexing, flexing. And now point your toes away from you. And now bring the toes towards each other. So the big toes, maybe they touch depending on how wide your legs are. Your knees should follow, so you might feel a certain closure in your hips, in the front of your hips. And then roll the feet out and see if you can press the little toe all the way down. Maybe it's not going to touch, that's fine. So we just want to now feel that opening in the front of the hips. So your knees are really following the movement here. You don't want to lock your knees between your feet and your hips. And then coming back to center and shake it out again. Bring your legs a little bit closer to each other and then bend the right knee and then lift the leg up and then bring the leg down. Other leg, so bend the left knee, bring it towards your chest, lift your leg up and bring it down. One more time each side, bending, stretching out and down. So with control, inhale, lengthening, exhale down. Do this with both legs, so bring both knees in, lifting, and then both legs down and release. Bending the knees, placing the feet flat on the floor, so the hips, the knees, and the feet are aligned. We're gonna press into our feet so that our lower back comes on the floor. So your pubic bone comes towards you, but purely through the effort of the feet. So it's not the abdominals that are gonna bring the pubic bone up. And then pull, so you're gonna pull into your feet so that your pubic bone is gonna go down and your back is gonna round. And then observe what happens with your head. So as you bring the lower back down, your chin is gonna lift towards the sky. And as you bring your pubic bone down, your chin goes towards your chest. So just let that movement happen. So we're loosening a bit in to the pelvic floor into the back, the neck. So everything is a chain in our body. So just working purely with your feet, like lots of pressure on the feet, on the floor. And then one more time. And then come back to neutral. And now bring your legs out again, so straight legs. And see if you can do that same movement. By pointing the toes to the front, your lower back is going to lift. And then bringing the toes in, your lower back might not go all the way down or not as much as with bended knees, but you still feel that tilting in the hips. So this is very good warm up for your lower back, so including sciatica problems. So just let the head follow the movement. Do this a few more times. And then coming back to center. Bend your knees. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. And then we're going to bring the knees over to the right. Stay there for a little while. So your arms are in a T now. You can look to the left to create extra rotation in your spine. Take a breath in, exhale. So again, no effort here. It's purely gravity. We're going to stay here for 5 more breaths. So letting go slowly. So it's possible that your right leg, the one that's closest to the floor, is not touching. It really depends on your hips, the building or flexibility. And then slowly coming back to center. Realign for a moment, so maybe move a little bit. Take a breath in and then exhale, drop the knees towards the left. So we're going to stay here for 8 breaths in total. Looking to the right if that's comfortable. Observe what happens in your body, maybe at the height of your hips or your chest. So observing is not questioning, it's just being aware of where you have more space and where you have less space in your body. So deep and long breaths. And after your 8 breaths, coming back to center. So again, find that neutral spine. Make sure you are comfortable, so you're not just on your tailbone. And then we're going to cross the right leg over the left, so as if you were sitting in a chair. Bring the knees towards your chest. You can lift your chest up and maybe grab your ankles. So your feet, I'll just turn around so you can see. You're going to grab your ankles and you're going to pull your ankles towards you. So this is a stretch in the right hip. So the right leg is on top. So the right hip is cow face, but then on the floor. And it's a little bit gentler on the knees. So what we still have to pay attention to is the knees. Flex your feet so that the toes and the knees are in line. And then with every exhale, release, bring the knees a little bit closer to your chest. Two more breaths here. And then release. Bring the feet back on the floor. And this time the left goes over the right. Lift your head up, grab your ankles, and bring it in. So depending on your knees, you might have very different sensations one side to the other. Depending on your hips, the position of your feet might be at the same height or very different height. So there's a lot of things playing and everything is connected, so never forget that. And because your little toe hurts, it's well possible something else in your body has been moved. So it's not necessary to blame the little toe. So 3 more breaths here. Bring the knees closer and closer. Feeling that big stretch in your left bum. And then release. And bring the legs back to center. Lengthen the legs and just shake them out. Bend your knees again and then grab one of your blocks. If you have soft blocks, it's great. If you have hard blocks, maybe you want to put a little blanket on top of it. So you can choose the height you want to go. We're going to press into the feet, lift the hips, and then place the block under your sacrum. So don't put it under your lower back because that's really going to hurt. And it's not good. That's not what we're doing here. So find that comfortable, find that balance. Maybe roll your shoulders under a little bit. And then from here, let's lift the left leg up. Your palms can be down, your arms long, or you can hold on to your block, whatever you prefer. And then bring the left leg down. Lift the right leg up. So this is just to find our stability. Are we stable on the block? And then bring the leg down. And if you want to go further, bring both legs up. So you can do 1 and 1 if this is not for you, or you can just keep your knees in a bend without lifting your legs. But if you're comfortable and you can hold on to the block with your hands, most to avoid the block to slip away, and then lift your legs up. And we're gonna lower the legs just a little bit. So about 75 degrees, something like that. And then a little bit lower, so very, very progressively. And a little bit lower, so now we're halfway lifted. Press your heels away, and then lift your legs back up. And then bring them again halfway, very slowly. And lift back up. And this time we're gonna bring the legs all the way down. So watch out, maybe you put your block a little bit too high for the next move. So adjust, bend your knee, move the block. Otherwise, explore. So bring the legs all the way down. Once the heel touch, release. So releasing the front of our hips. Inhale, exhale. Bend the left knee, bend the right knee, press into your hips, and come all the way down. And lengthen out your legs and just let your hips come back to neutral. Now we're gonna work a little bit with the upper body. So I'm gonna close the window. It's a little bit too cold. So working a little bit with the upper body. So we're gonna need the block again. Take the block and place it at the height that works for you. So I know my block is black, so you might not see it, but you want to put it in either direction. So go on the lowest height. You can put it long or you can put it wide. You're really gonna have to see how it feels. And then roll yourself onto the block. So the block comes at the height of the shoulder blades. And then your head can hang back, or you can put a blanket underneath. And then bring your arms to the side, so opening the chest here. So if your block is wide, your shoulders might not drop as much back. So you just want to relax here into this pose. I am not saying this is comfortable, especially if your block is hard. So that's why, if it's really not comfortable, take a blanket, make a roll, and put it alongside your spine. Will have the same effect. And then from here, bend your knees and then bring the soles of the feet together and let your knees fall to the floor. So butterfly, but watch out that you're not holding into the legs. So if this is too much holding for you into the groin area, or you prop yourself up, or you keep your legs long. Or what some people like to do is go cross-legged here, and then you might find a little bit more release. So again, working on that opening of the hips with the butterfly, opening of the chest with the block. So if it doesn't feel right for you with the block, meaning that you're not breathing calmly, or you're not there yet, first of all, give yourself 2 or 3 breaths. There should not be any pain, but comfort is maybe not there either. So, and discomfort is okay in this pose. If there is pain, you come out, you adjust. If you want to try a little bit higher, you can. And so the throat is open, so don't put a block too high under your head, otherwise there won't be any opening in the throat. So it's a gentle opening, it's a variation or a supported fish pose if you want to. Fish pose is not accessible for everybody, so this is a very good variation and it's more a restorative approach. And stay here for 3 more breaths. And close your legs, press into your feet, lift your hips up, feel how there is even more weight onto your shoulder, onto your spine with the block, and then bring the knees down. Roll over to one side, take the block out, and then lay down. So again, after every opening, we want to come back into a neutral position. We don't immediately want to go into another pose. Take a few breaths in and a few breaths out. Open the arms into a T. This time, bring your knees at the height of your hips, so the knees are above the hips, the heels are at the height of the knees. And we're gonna place the palms down and then move your legs together towards the right. So we're not touching the floor here. We're working with our oblique abdominals and then coming back to center and then going to the other side. So exhaling, inhaling up, exhaling. If you want to go further, you can lengthen out your legs here and do the movement with straight legs. But watch out for your shoulders, that they don't lift. So really anchor your shoulders into the floor. If your knees continue to separate, you can always put a strap around your thighs. Let's do this 2 more times each side. So giving a little massage to our bum and our sacrum, tailbone. And if you feel you suddenly stop because of pain, then you probably went too far. So back off a little bit, so the movement still has to be with a lot of awareness. And then coming back. Now place your hands onto your thighs, so your knees are still above your hips. Your heels at the height of your knees, and your toes, your feet are flexed. Place your hands onto your thighs, and then move your fingers towards your knees, so your hands are quite high. And then from here, press your hands into your thighs, lift your head, and you should feel some abdominals getting active. Continue breathing. We're going to stay here for 3, 2, and 1. And come down. Lower your hands a little bit so that the heel of the hand is about 2/3 away from your knees. And then press your hands, lift your heads. And probably you observe that the work is done at a different height in your abdominals. Pressing, so your legs pressing into your hands pressing into your legs. 3, 2, and 1. And come down. And let's just release for a moment. So bring the feet down. And then back up. So reposition everything with square corners. This time the heel of the hand is very close to your groin area. And same thing. Lift your head, lift your shoulders, press your hands into your thighs into your hands. Three, 2, and 1. And release. And gently move from side to side. So just your hips. And then bring the knees into the chest. Hug your knees in to release the abdominals. Take a few breaths here. And open your arms again. And we're gonna, with straight legs, we're gonna roll over onto our right side. So your feet can stay on top of each other, or you can place your top foot behind so that you can press a little bit more, but keep your left shoulder onto the floor. So we're opening in the shoulder, shoulder blade, chest, right shoulder is on the floor, left shoulder presses down. So with that left foot, that upper foot, you can definitely press yourself a bit more to the side. Keep on breathing, every exhale coming back, going a little bit further, sorry. And then coming back to center. Lengthen your legs and then move towards the left side. So again, your right foot can press, keep the right shoulder on the floor. Your head just look to the ceiling. You don't want to start to make any turns with the head here. We're focusing already on enough things. And then coming back to center and release. So now take your strap and we're going to place a strap around the right foot. And we're going to stay here for 8 breaths. So pay really attention and stay with your breath. See if you can, for 8 breaths, think about nothing but the lengthening in your legs. So every inhale, we press the heel up. Every exhale, we push the hip down. You want to hold your strap so that your shoulders and your arms can be relaxed. Your toes are pointing towards you. So sometimes we pull too much on one side and the foot is flipping. So make sure that your toes are pointing towards your knees. Your left leg is very, very active. So it's really supporting you. So inhale, press the heel up. Exhale, press the hip down. Your knees straight. If you want to go a little bit further, you can just hover with your left leg. Just hover. If you bring it too much up, you're going to round your spine. So you just want to hover. It's just in case you want to add something else. So go for your 8 breaths. Inhale, pressing the heel away. Exhale, pushing the hip down. So whether your eyes are open or closed, it's really up to you. But sometimes with eyes open, we're a bit too distracted. Sometimes with eyes closed, we're a bit too distracted. So really observe what works for you. And then release the left leg down if it was lifted. And bring the right leg down. And you can then just switch, put your left foot within the strap, press your right leg down and lift your left leg up. So again, align your toes, relax your shoulders, relax your arms, start to push the heel up and press the hip down. If you want to hover with the right leg, go ahead. It's just an addition, it doesn't need to be. 3 more breaths. Continue to lengthen within your leg. And then bring the right leg down. And very slowly bring the left leg down. Take the strap away. This time bring the right knee in. Place your right hand onto your right knee and lift yourself up so you can grab the right foot with your left hand. So the heel of your hand is on the sole of your foot, your fingers are over. And then very slowly, you can still be lifted with your head and chest. Very slowly start to move the right knee out, like as if you were in pigeon. So imagine that the right knee is in pigeon pose. And then bring your head back down. And then with every exhale, this time we're going to bring the foot and the knee closer. Your left leg is active. So again, it's making sure that your hips remain stable. Every exhale, we come a little bit closer. And then bend your left knee. Press your left thigh at the height of the ankle or wherever it positions. So don't make any twerks with your hips. So wherever your left thigh is going to land on your right leg, that's where you're going to press. You don't want to press too much. You don't want to lift your bum too much. So just to give a little bit more stretch into your hip. And then release the left foot on the floor, so the left knee is bent. My right ankle is still on my left leg. And then we're gonna bring the arms alongside the body. Bend the elbows so your palms are facing towards each other, the fingers are pointing up. And then from here, start to lift your hips and feel the front of your hips, of your right groin area opening. Lifting up. Your breath is calm. We don't do any cardio or extreme movements today. We just want to feel what's happening within and gently open up. And then slowly bring your hips down. And now you're going to continue with your right leg. You're going to bring the right thigh and the left thigh close to each other. So again, legs as if you were sitting in a chair. And then open your arms. And this time bring your knees over towards the right. So the rotation happens a little bit lower into your spine. Here you can let go. The only place you want to keep very aware of is your left shoulder, that it stays on the floor. So rotation in the lower spine here. Your sides of your hips are opening up. And then slowly coming back to center. Unwrap your legs and then lengthen them. You can bring your hands to your belly and just observe your hips. This time bend your left knee, left hand on your left knee. Lift your chest and head, bring your right hand around your left foot and start to open your knee towards the side. So the movement is really coming from your hip here. Your toes and your knees stay aligned at all times. It's really important. And then once you can actually see that movement, that opening up, you can bring your head and your shoulders back down and then bring the leg towards your chest. And then bend your right leg wherever it's going to touch on your thigh. So without making any turns into the hips, start to gently press it in to your left leg. So opening a bit more into the left hip, bum. You can relax your right foot now. And then slowly bring the right foot down. Again, arms alongside your body, bend your elbows, fingers pointing up, palms towards each other. And then start to press into your right foot, lift your hips, open the groin area. So don't lift your left leg all the way up. Keep it going down so that you can really access that front of your hips where the quadriceps attaches to the hip bones. So what you feel is most probably not a muscle stretch, but more IT band stretch. So tendons connecting muscles to bone, important to keep them healthy. As we move, they remain moist and they don't dry out. So that's really what we need to do here. And then slowly coming back down, glide your left leg over the right, open your arms in a T, position your shoulders, and then bring the legs over towards the left. So just releasing here, working with gravity. And then coming back to center, unwrap the legs and lengthen them out. Take a breath in and a long breath out. Bring your hands behind your head so comfortably. Your elbows are at the height of your head, so you don't lift your elbows up for now. And then pull the skin of your skull away from you so that your chin comes a little bit closer towards your chest. And then from here, start to bring the elbows together, lifting the head, big stretch in the neck. And then slowly come back down. Take a breath in and a breath out. Release your arms. Relax.